In just a few days, Engadget will be touching down in Berlin to bring you all the news from one of the biggest tech events of the year, IFA. It's a place where big-name products sit side by side with mountains of appliances, and sometimes you never quite know what you're going to see. But past experience and an active rumor mill give us some idea of what's in the cards. Here are the most important announcements we expect to witness at IFA 2018. Sony always brings a big bag of tricks to Berlin, and that traditionally includes a new smartphone or two. Rumors and common sense point to Sony revealing the Xperia XZ3 at its August 30th press conference. And if specs floating around the internet are to be believed, it'll be another iterative flagship. There's little to suggest there'll be a smaller XZ3 compact this year, which would be a break from the norm. And there's some debate as to whether the XZ3 itself will feature the same dual camera as on the XZ2 Premium, or the crazy 48 megapixel smartphone sensor Sony recently announced. The company could be holding off on that though, saving it for the premium model of the XZ3 that's bound to be revealed at some later date, as is Sony's way. TCL, which is responsible for BlackBerry's mobile brand, also has something to show off, and the rumored Key 2 Lite edition is what we'd put our money on. Whispers say it'll be a lot like the Key 2 announced a few months ago, but with slightly more reserved specs and a selection of colorful plastic wrappers. The big news will undoubtedly be how affordable TCL can make it, compared to the $650 Key 2. Now we're straying into less certain territory with LG, which unveiled its V30 smartphone at IFA last year. All things point to LG releasing a V40 ThinQ at some point in the near future, but IFA may or may not be the place the company decides to do it. Given the lack of fresh rumors to push us either way, it's basically a coin flip at this point. Similarly, Huawei is due to launch its latest Galaxy Note competitor soon. We're just not sure exactly when. It's almost a given at this point that Huawei's Mate 20 family will comprise 3 members: a standard model with a 6.3-inch display, a more affordable light version, and an even bigger 6.9-inch Pro handset that could include the same 3-camera situation as the Huawei P20 Pro. But last year, Huawei opted to wait until after IFA to spill the beans on the Mate 10, and its press conference in Berlin instead focused on its latest mobile chip. Huawei's next-generation processor is expected to be among the announcements at this year's show, so there is a chance the world's second biggest smartphone manufacturer could wait until after the IFA rush dies down before officially announcing the Mate 20 range. There were plenty of new wearables to wrap around our wrists at IFA 2017, but we're not confident there will be a great deal to talk about this year. Fossil always has a ton of fresh faces from the many brands it owns at IFA, but in terms of high-profile launches, Samsung just announced its Galaxy Watch, and we already know everything there is to know about Fitbit's new Charge 3. A few months ago, there were rumors LG was cooking up a new wearable, and we've caught a few interesting Huawei smartwatch patents lately. But there simply hasn't been enough internet chatter leading up to IFA to suggest either company has anything planned this year. Now, it wouldn't be IFA without walls of TVs lighting up the many halls of the Berlin Conference Center. Most of them will be familiar, but Samsung will almost certainly have a brand new 8K QLED TV to wow us with. We know this because the company said as much in a street ad that was clearly put up a tad prematurely. Pretty much nothing is actually filmed in 8K yet, but we're sure Samsung will have commissioned a beautiful clip to loop over and over all the same. Samsung will also likely bring its mammoth 146-inch micro LED The Wall TV to the show as it's about to go on sale. But rumor has it that LG might actually trump that with a 175-inch micro LED monster of its own. Hopefully we get to see some quirkier stuff this year along the lines of the ludicrous moving TV Bang & Olufsen showed off at IFA 2017. Like TVs, high-end audio gear is common sight at IFA, so we expect to see some cool new cans and plenty of speakers. And these days, it seems you can't possibly release new home audio equipment without trapping an AI servant inside. We imagine Amazon's Alexa and Google's Assistant will be vying for smart speaker dominance on the show floor. With Acer, Asus, and Lenovo among the companies flying in for IFA, we'd put our money on a number of new laptops, hybrids, convertibles, and everything in between making an appearance at the show. Perhaps not the most interesting product category, but at least we'll get to look at all the best hardware before it comes out later this year. Now, home appliances have always been a big part of IFA, and they're getting smarter every year, from washing machines to fridges. We anticipate seeing a bunch of new connected appliances, particularly from Samsung and LG. In fact, LG's already teased the fact that a lot of what it's bringing to IFA will work with its ThinQ AI platform. All said, there's going to be a lot to sink our teeth into, but to be honest, what we're looking forward to most is the handful of oddities we always come across, like the Bosch stain scanner we saw at last year's show. Just as we have a few hunches about what companies have planned for IFA, so we have an inkling about things we're unlikely to see. For instance, apart from an 8K TV and a few smart appliances, we don't expect much more from Samsung. The new Note, Tab S4, Galaxy Watch, and Galaxy Home speaker were announced just a few weeks ago, so it's unlikely Samsung has any surprises left in the tank. Motorola just launched the Moto Z3, meaning we probably won't get another smartphone at IFA like we did last year. Motorola doesn't do wearables anymore either, so the company will probably just attend as part of the entourage of parent company Lenovo. Most upsetting is that Sphero tells us it's not bringing anything new to Berlin this time around. The company typically has a cool new Star Wars toy or two for us to play with while we're there, but not this time. Fortunately for you, that means there's nothing to distract us from bringing you all the scoops from IFA 2018.